Y'all, when I say do not underestimate the power of journaling and the power of writing, listen to me when I say this. Every time I saw a video that talked about journaling or writing your thoughts or writing your feelings, I would instantly scroll up or cut the video off because I did not want to hear it. I did not want to understand. I did not want to know why they say journaling and writing is so powerful. And here's the thing. It was not until I actually started taking journaling and writing seriously when I discovered that it's powerful, and I get and understand why people, especially in the Bible, such as David, did it. If you're the type of person like me, when I start talking or saying anything, my mind gets scrambled, my words get tongue-tied and twisted. I know what I'm thinking. I know what I want to say, but it's not coming out the way that I'm thinking it in my brain and in my head. So I found out for myself, I have to write things down. I have to write it down, put it on a piece of paper, what I want to say, and then read from that actual paper or reflect on that paper. There is so much in your brain. There is so much thoughts that you have buried in your brain. There's so many feelings that you have buried in your brain. There's so many things that you have buried in your brain that is trying to come out. And if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people that is very trustworthy in your life, or if you don't feel like venting to everybody, or if you learned your lesson on venting, I guarantee you, get a piece of paper and just start writing. Don't think about it. Don't think too much into it. Just start writing and see exactly what happens. Like, honestly, I seriously get amazed with myself because some things that I write, I didn't know that I was actually thinking, or some things that I write helps me to reflect upon what it is that is buried in my mind that wants to come out. And as soon as it comes out on paper, it makes sense. And then it helps me to reflect and try to make better decisions. Even when I say things out loud, it helps me to understand, okay, yeah, that was a crazy thought. We don't need to think that anymore. I literally started going back writing because my therapist, I realized in my therapy session, I would ramble on and on and on, and then we would lose track of time, and my brain would be so scrambled with my thoughts that I didn't organize my thoughts into the session, and that I'm able to get every thought that I want to have out. So what I started doing personally before my therapy session, I started writing down key notes that I want to talk about in my therapy session. And then I also I will put it in like order. I will put the most important thing that I want to speak on to the less important thing that I want to speak on. And it helps me organize what I want to say in my thought process and my feelings concerning what I want to talk about in my therapy session. Now, the reason why I really hated writing, or the reason why I hated journaling, is because it would literally take me 2 to 3 hours to be done. And I hated it. It hurted my hands. It was time consuming. I couldn't put 2 to 3 hours with the busy schedule that I have, with my being a single mom, having to deal with school, and then having to work, and then give God his time. 2 to 3 hours just seemed like a very long time to write every single day. But I didn't understand that in those 2 to 3 hours, I had things to say. If you're writing for that long, you have things to say. Your brain is literally telling you that I need to get this out, whether I talk to somebody, whether I vent to somebody, whether I write it on paper, whether I speak about it in my sessions. I need to get these thoughts out because it's trapped. It's trapped in your brain. It's trapped in the back of your mind, and you're never ever allowing these things to flow and come out the way that it's supposed to. So that's why I literally hated it because it was like it taking me 2 to 3 hours just to write everything that I felt and everything that I wanted to say, but could not. So then I started using journaling. I still use my regular notebook, of course, my regular notebook of journaling. And if times I don't have time to write the stuff that I want to write down, or if I'm on the go, I would use a voice memo as a voice journal. I would use video recording as video journals. I would use, there's this new app on iPhone that actually is named Journal. And so if I didn't have the time to sit down and write, or if I was in the midst of a thought, or I was in the midst of something, I would literally go into my app journal on iPhone to put those thoughts and those feelings that I have, on paper, so that I can go back and reflect on those things. And it really helps. It really helps to write things down. It really helps to reflect on these things, because sometimes I can be 6 months out and then I'll go back to an old entry and see, oh man, this is what I prayed for. This is what I was asking God to help me with. This was a pain that I have never experienced, that I felt like I couldn't overcome. But look at me now, I'm 6 months in and it's over with, and I have overcome and I'm better. It helps me also to look at the simple fact is that I'm a step forward, because sometimes we don't have track records, or we don't have any tracking of the progress that we have, had in our lives. And we also tend to forget, and the enemy loves for us to forget our track record, or the enemy loves to forget how far we came. And then it brings back, when we go back on those old entries, it helps us to understand that, oh, I have came far. Like, that's not true. I'm not in the same place that I was, and I'm so grateful for that. So if anybody has been considering it or putting it off, journaling and writing does work. Voice memos do work. Voice journals do work. Talking to God does work. If you don't have anything to say, write Dear God letters. It does work. All of it works. And I guarantee you, you won't vent as much as you used to. You won't, be spewing out just untamed thoughts. You will become more organized in your thoughts and your thinking process, and also more organized in your reflecting process. So this is my tip on today. You guys have a wonderful night. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.